I miss anything about it, and it's just little things like you see it and you understand it when you get older because you mature and you start really taking it in.
But
I,
oh,
I think that, man, I think the culture has everything to do with family. And the beautiful thing about that, Rojo, is that you have the opportunity to be that father that you never had. You know what I mean? So I think culture is always growing. There's no, like Mook said in the beginning, there's no definition of what Black culture is or what the culture is. It's going to change from person to person. I think that culture for me is the food. I think is being proud of who we are and not forgetting where we come from. And I think when we talk about culture in general, a lot of times we throw that word out loosely. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's do it for the culture. Let's do it for the, you know what I mean? But what the hell do you mean by that? Because some people are out here lost and have no idea what our history is, what our background is, and the culture is being defined right now. And sometimes the culture is just, it's not it. You know what I mean? Just a rap video and having women and doing a whole bunch of different stuff. That's not the culture. You know what I
That
mean?
ain't it.
That's not it. The culture, like you guys said, man, is family. Being there for your family, making sure you take care of your family. That's been ingrained in all of us, regardless if you had a mother, a father, a grandma, a grandpa. You got to take care of what's at home. You know what I'm saying?
yo,
And faith, bro. Well, I feel like the Black culture is being in the church and being having some type of faith. You don't have to be Christian, you don't have to be whatever it is, but being having the faith in God. You know what I mean? Because my I was raised by my mother, single woman, and she was working all the time. And a lot of times I was raised low key by my grandma and grandpa. And they were really into the church. They made me go to Bible study. They made me go in there and do speeches at the church. So my grandma is a huge stepping stone to who I am today, is because she grounded me in the importance of your family, your faith, education, our history. Because my mom was out there trying to make a living for us, and I don't know where I'd be at if I didn't have my grandma and my grandpa, because they defined what I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? So when you talk about culture, bro, all I think about is making sure that you take care of your home, make sure they're good. You have a belief in something, you know what I mean? And that you believe in yourself at the end of the day, that you are going to get your goals, you're going to get what you deserve, and you have a work ethic to follow that. I think as kings, as Black men, we get hit with obstacles all the time. You know what I mean? And I feel like our culture it, is to get it out of the mud. You know what I mean? At the same time, we can go into this a little bit, but we don't express our emotions. We keep that stuff inside, and sometimes we get obstacles our way. We don't express it emotionally. We keep it inside, and we grind and get it and get through it. You know what I mean? That's the culture. But I also want to make sure that the culture changes the dynamic of being vulnerable, being emotionally available to learn ourselves. You know what I'm saying? The culture
See,
also
Matt,
for kings have been to be strong, and you know what I mean, you got this. Don't show all the don't cry, don't show that emotion. And I think right now we have an opportunity to change the culture in such a positive way, because people are watching us, people are paying attention to us, where we can make the uncommon common now. You know what I'm saying? So
see, but understanding the lost part. Like I mean, like I'm 34 years old, and I'm not saying that I'm completely lost, but it's still things that I'm still trying to understand. Like, and that's me being an adult right now, and still the culture. And when you get pieces taken away from you at certain points throughout your life, sometimes that does make you feel like it's you kind of like
can't figure it out.
following this road. Yeah, you're following this road and you hoping for the best, even though people are still putting up these stop signs and keep stopping you. And what I mean by stop signs is removing people out of your life.
mm-hmm.
Like my grandmother, when she was removed, I felt like that was a big, I felt like that was a big hit to the family. And all of a sudden the family get togethers was like not really popping, not really like
Right.
my cousin's not really coming. And as you get older and as the things start changing, the lost part, like what you were just mentioning once, I'm still a little lost on a lot of things when it comes to me and my family.
Yeah.
It is like, I mean, my mom, she embedded the love side, she embedded the family side, but in reality, like, I don't know how, like, dude, I was living in Nashville and played in the NFL, and I was seeing my brothers probably one time a year. And the one time that I was seeing them is when I'd fly to LA to go try to go find my brothers and sisters, go try like hunt them down. Like, is that a culture thing? Like, could that be the way that it is? It's like my life. That's how I feel like that's my culture. Now I moved back to Salt Lake City to try to think I would be closer to my family and see my family more. I'm still seeing them one time a year, and that has nothing to do with just this is life. It just happens to be that the culture that me and my family has put together is that pieces has been taken away, and we're trying our best to try to make things happen. I
So
wish and pray that I could see my family every like if I could live back in LA and live in a better situation as a better area and understand myself better, I would love to be with my family more, see my brothers and sisters. That shit hit differently when you see your family, man. It hit way differently.
and to be honest with you, bro, I think that's situational. You know what I mean? I don't think that's cultural. I don't think that's culture. And here's why. Um, you have an opportunity, you know what you want. And like I said, I think we're embedded in family ties and want to take care of our family and be there for our family. And that's exactly what you want to do, right, Rojo? You want to be there
Yeah.
for your family. I think that's the culture and it's embedded in you. Unfortunately, the situation that you've been in is been a little bit different, but you have an opportunity to be whatever you didn't have right now. And even if you say that you're lost in the family and not knowing like how I'm supposed to do it, you're the boss right now. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. The other thing, okay, because I'm gonna get deep real quick with you. The other thing about the situation, about the culture, is sometimes we feel like I'm supposed to do what used to happen, or this is how it should be, or this is how it used to be. As a king and the king of your household, Rojo, you can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do and change the whole dynamic.
See, but
So
this
if
the
you
flip.
talk,
But
change
this the flip
everything.
side. But this the flip side of it is that, like you said, like your grandma really taught you and showed you exactly how it is. So even if she was removed, you like, hey, I know
Right,
what this is about.
right.
Now with me, I'm not saying that it was embedded.
You're right.
We still trying to get it together as we going. Like it seemed like my dad was killed 1992. I was like 5 years old, I think, or six, and we're still as a family trying to identify what our culture exactly is because he
Right.
was the head person. He was the one that made the ship move. And now it's like the ship's been our ship been trying to get there. But I want to make sure that everybody that's listening understand that we're all human and
Yeah.
we it's some of us that's not completely lost, but we're still trying to learn it. And what you're
Yeah.
saying, Watts, is exactly 100% correct. Is that I do have control and I can figure out how to make this my own. But then it does dawn on me. It's like making me feel like, am I doing it right?
The,
See,
the biggest the biggest thing, bro, honestly, out of what you said is we're not gonna ever truly be like, okay, I'm found
yeah.
now. Like I'm
Yeah,
on the right
yeah.
path.
Real
Like, you know
talk.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like part of life is being okay with being lost, but knowing like my guiding light is trying to find the truth. You know, like as long as you're trying to find the truth, bro, what else can be done? What
Right.
else can be done? And taking it a step back, because I wanted to say something, taking the back step to community, let's think about where this started. We were coming from slaves.
Yep.
Our families were torn apart then. You know what I'm saying?
Purposely.
So it purposely, and so that sense of community had to happen within them plantations. Starting from jumping the broom, things of that. Like they had to make their own culture within that. Like your dad probably got sold, and your mom probably got sold. So you got taken in by somebody else's cousin in 1809, and they became your mom. Like this, so the sense of culture and the things that we're all feeling are things that are natural to us. You know what I'm saying? And so we need, I think, as people, from a Black culture standpoint, I think, thinking about your story, Rojo, our problem is we didn't lean into that next neighborhood. We
Right.
didn't lean in and use those resources with each other. So, can we define culture? Because there are things about our culture that need to be broken down. They need to be
Yeah.
torn down. Like you said, well, that starting with that toxic masculinity, you can't show emotion. You can't do that. There's a lot of things that we need to break down where, of course, that's a bigger monster to tackle saying,
Yeah.
hey, as a Black culture, how do we lean in together? But you know, thinking back where we started, bro, we had to have each other. We had to have each other, you know, when we was back on the
We all
plantations,
we
and we
got.
had to, that was it, you know. And then you had Nat Turner come in and say, "Hey, let's go, let's overthrow this system," you know. And then you see what happened. And then, of course, again, this is a whole nother topic because I'm
Let's
really
get in.
get into it. But
Look
then
at
you see
JoJo
the
pulling
other,
up.
yeah. I was gonna say, bro, you see the other things that were set in place,
Yeah.
but man, I mean, just thinking about the culture, like culture is this is something that I get prideful on, bro. I get so prideful thinking about where we truly came from and what we overcame, and then what we're still battling, and again, being okay with battling that, bro, Joe. Like, I love that you're where you're at right now, man, because I could tell you the growth that I've seen in you is amazing. Like it makes me emotional thinking about where you came from and where you are right now, because I know if nothing else, you are trying to find that light. And if nothing else, your son is watching you try to find that light. That's what we didn't have. That's what our culture does not have, is having that guidance of saying, son, this is where we need to go, you know?
Yeah.
And
Like
that's
Wall said,
big.
you can change the whole. You got the ability right now to change the whole picture. You're the one.
right.
You're the one.
Yeah.
You're the great grandpa years from now that they're like, yo, my great grandpa did this, this, and this, and built this whole new culture within our family. You're the one.
Yeah.
100%. And it starts with these conversations that we're having right now, like us, is the different experiences, being able to share it. Like, this is why I'm blessed and lucky enough to be part of this group. And that's why it's, to me, I'm not saying it as being cocky, but whoever that's listening to this or watching this, it's some good stuff that's always going to happen every show. Like, we're going to always have something that's going to hit home, or at least make you take that one step that you've been telling yourself that you want to take for a while.
You know, real quick, JoJo, I think that's dope. I never, what you thought about that, bro? Like, as much as I say you can control the narrative and everything about your family and your culture, but being a father, you literally do that to your kids' minds. You know what I mean? You control the whole family dynamic. And I think that's, I don't know, I was just thinking right now, I think that's so dope that you have the ability to create a whole culture within your family. You know what I mean? And it's based off of the king that's in that family and the queen. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, like, so my pop, man, like I said, similar to Rojo and you, Walt, he lost both his parents at a young age, right? And that's something he always like preached to us. It's like his dad was an alcoholic, beat his mother throughout their whole relationship, right? But my dad never took a sip of liquor until, just celebratory, until we were older. He made a choice, and he'd always tell us, he's like, you were in control, man. Like, I could have easily did this. Like, he came from South Side of Chicago. He could have easily went that way, and then he moved out to San Diego, in the middle of it was just all bad. But he could have easily went one direction, but he literally made a choice. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be the king of my house. I'm gonna lead my sons. I'm gonna make sure they never want for anything. They're always gonna see me work. They're never gonna see me, defeated. And that could be any of us, man. Like, that can be any of us. You know what I'm saying? That's I don't like to say that's Black culture, because this has been something that's the dark side of it that we don't like to talk about. But coming out of that is Black culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Winning that battle is Black culture, because we're always dealing with hurdles. And I'm not saying other cultures don't deal with similar hurdles, but we do we deal with these things at a way higher rate than a lot of people. And we've just treated it like it's just Tuesday. It's just an everyday thing. It's normal. We've normalized it, which is such. Like I said, it's the culture that was given to us. Our real culture is family. Our real culture is innovation. Our real culture is royalty.
It shows that grit, though. Like, it shows that generational grit of coming out the mud. What you guys have said, of how each generation has found their own difficulties and be able to overcome those difficulties. And I love it. You guys are saying so many powerful things here, and I think for us as a people right now is the realization. Let's have these conversations to realize what we've gone through. Jojo, I think you've said it, multiple times to me and probably countless other people, is, man, look how far you've come, right? Look what you've done.